Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to share 3 projects. These are all 4-bar cards and they all feature brand new products from Pinkfresh Studio. I thought it would be fun to kind of change up the card size and show you how you can create these on your own. Now, here's a look at the products that I'm going to be using for today's card project. It includes the new Freshly Picked product suite, which includes a stamp set, a press plate, coordinating stencil set, and coordinating die set. I'll also be using the Stitch Edit Herirage lace die set. It creates these beautiful lacy borders. They're about 4¼ inches wide, so they're perfect for an A2 size card base. And finally, I'll be using the Cottage Frame product suite, which includes these gorgeous frames. They're available in a stamp and a press plate set, along with coordinating stencils and dies. Now, I thought I would quickly flip you through all of the products that are available in this new Homespun with Heart release from Pinkfresh Studio. All of these products will be listed and linked in the YouTube description below, so you can check any of them out. I love this large spool die. That's the one that kind of coordinates with that heritage lace. And you will notice in this new release from Pinkfresh Studio, if you are familiar with them, that they are debuting new product packaging. And on the back, you're going to find not only the products that coordinate with them, but products that work well together. Now, this is a fun stencil die combo, which Pinkfresh Studio is so good at. It has some beautiful florals. And then if you're interested, there are some smaller spool dies as well. And with this, it's kind of a Stitch Edit kind of mix and match whole theme here that we have. There's a stamp set that coordinates with that. And there's also some buttons, sewing notions, threads, and that sort of thing. So all of this is available today at Pinkfresh Studio if you want to go check it out. Now, I haven't done hot foiling in a while, at least it feels that way, and it's one of my favorite techniques. And so I'm going to show you foiling with a press plate today. I'm starting by turning on my Glimmer hot foil system. Now, for my favorite foils, I keep them stored. I cut them down and store them in a stamp pocket, so they're approximately just a little larger than an entire A2 size card front, and that makes it really easy as I'm creating. Now, I grabbed the Freshly Picked press plate set and placed it on my platform once it was fully heated. Then I pressed the timer button. Once that timer runs through its full course, that bottom button will stop blinking, or the bottom light will stop blinking, and you know it's ready. Then I'm going to take the platform, remove it from the base, add my foil with the pretty side facing the pretty side of the press plate, add my smooth white cardstock, my thin shim and spacer pad, and run that through my Platinum 6 die cutting machine to press the foil onto the cardstock. Now, I'm using Hammer Mill smooth white cardstock. I'll have this linked in the YouTube description. It's a great cardstock for hot foiling. And if you're finding that you're not getting great results when you hot foil, it definitely could be your cardstock. Cardstock is one of those things that can matter more than you think it might, and it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing for cardstocks. Some are better for foiling, some are better for ink blending, some are better for Copic coloring. Now, as I was hot foiling, I also hot foiled some of the sentiments from the Freshly Picked press plate set, as well as those cottage frames. And then I'm going to set those aside and I will die cut everything at once I do my stenciling. Now, I'm going to grab the Freshly Picked stencil set, and I'm going to refer to the back of the packaging as I'm stenciling to kind of figure out which stencil is going to color what. You can kind of find the pieces that are exposed and see how they're colored on the back of the packaging, or if you're not quite sure what's happening, it's often helpful to refer to the packaging. For stencil number 1, I'm starting out with Pinkfresh Studio's Olive ink. I love this green ink, and I'm using a 1/2 inch blending brush to do all of my blending. Now, I will wipe the stencil every time I'm finished with the stencil or anytime that I change color on a single stencil to keep my hands clean and to keep me from contaminating the other colors that I may want to stencil on a single layer. For instance, this is stencil number 3, and I'm doing yellow on the lemon and the center of the flower for the strawberry bunch, but I'm going to wipe off the stencil between the peach fuzz that I laid down. For this next stencil, I masked off a couple areas because this blue can be really intense and I don't want to transfer it over. And then I wanted to do the rest of those areas in a light layer of coral reef ink. Now I'm going to use coral reef again for this next layer, but I'm going to do a heavier layer. So if you don't have a ton of inks at your disposal, you can use the same color of ink in various places and do it with greater or less intensity to change up the look of that ink. Now for the shadows on the blueberries, I'm going to use Stargazer. I use Sapphire for the base. For my yellows, I use Sunshine and Sweet Mustard. For my oranges, I used Peach Fuzz and Apricot. And for my pinks, I used Coral Reef and Passion Fruit. Once I've worked through all of my stenciling, I am going to remove this from the grip mat that I'm using to hold my cardstock and my stencil in place. I like to roll the grip mat away, and here's a look at the finished results of that ink blending with the foiling. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is by wiping off each layer or stencil as you go, you're also going to be wiping off any excess ink that may be sitting on top of the foil and keep everything from smudging a little bit later on down the road. I grabbed the coordinating dies for the Freshly Picked product suite, as well as the sentiments and the cottage frames, and now I am just popping all of those out after running them through my die cut machine. You can see that I held them in place with a little repositionable tape. Now for the cottage frames, you actually get 2 dies with each shape. The first, or the inner die, cuts around the shape exactly, and the outer die cuts a mat for that. Or you can use the 2 dies together and create this fun little frame out of some colored cardstock. Now, things like the Herirage lace die, they can often trip people up when they are die cutting them because they are a super intricate but very beautiful design. I find that if I'm having trouble die cutting these all the way, adding a metal shim to my die cutting sandwich can often get me better results. And you may want to run them through your die cut machine a couple of times in a couple of different directions to make sure you're getting a nice clean cut. Those couple of tips will help you with more intricate dies like this heritage lace. Now I am using the dual tip embellishment tool to poke out any pieces that remained in the die cut once I removed it from the die, and here's a look at those beautiful pieces. A 4-bar card base is going to be a finished size of 3.5 by 4 7/8. And I want this layer to be slightly smaller than that, so I'm cutting this at 3.25 by 4 5/8. If it's a little easier for you, you can round that 4 7/8 inches up to 5 inches and create a 3.5 by 5 inch card, but I'm showing you the version that measures 3.5 by 4 7/8 today. I'm assembling my little frame pieces. The fruit is added on top of that cottage frame using some foam adhesive. I layered up my sentiment as well and added that onto my frame, again using some foam adhesive. And for the heritage lace pieces, I'm going to add some liquid glue to the back side, and I'm using the grid lines on my grid mat, the surface that I'm working on, to make sure that I get these straight across my card front. Once those have a little bit of time to dry, I'm going to snip off the excess. Now here's one way to create a 4-bar card base. You can start with an A2 size card base and trim it down. So I have the fold on the left-hand side here, and I'm cutting this to 3.5 inches. I had a little problem with the 2 layers here, but I'm going to get it right on the second cut. Then I'm going to rotate this, and my fold is now at the top of my trimmer, and I'm going to trim this down to 4 7/8 inches. Now keep in mind, if you do the 5-inch measurement, you will need to adjust your measurements on the layer that you're placing on top. So here is my first 4-bar card. It's such a fun little note card size, and I decided to make a couple more of these. So I'm taking the blueberries, and I have this sentiment that says, "I will always pick you." The "I will" was sticking out a little far for my liking, so I trimmed it off and did a little snip on the edge of the L and added it above that "always" word with some foam adhesive. Now, if you feel like the first method of making a 4-bar card base was a little wasteful because you start with an A2 size card. I'm going to show you how to do it from a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. Along that 8.5 inch side, I'm going to trim that down to 7 inches. Then I'm going to rotate my cardstock and cut 2 pieces that measure 4 7/8 inches. This is going to give me 2 4-bar card bases, and then I'll have those larger strips of cardstock to set aside and use for something else. So these measure 7 inches by 4 7/8 inches. Then I'm going to take them and place them into my scoring tool and score that 7-inch side, the longer side, at 3.5 inches. And this will give me a 4-bar card base. The finished size, again, is 3.5 by 4 7/8 inches. It's a little bit smaller than an A2 size card base, and it's a fun little note card size. And if you're not into trying a bunch of different sizes like slimlines and stuff, this could be an alternative card size for you that doesn't feel too different in format from an A2 size card. It's also a great way to kind of frame up smaller pieces like we're using today. Now I put those 2 cards together and I decided to create a 3rd card with the lemon. So again, I'm cutting a mat for the front of the card, or a card front, out of this pistachio cardstock. And I'm positioning one of the Herirage lace dies onto that cardstock. I'm replacing the magnetic mat for my Anna Griffin Impress die cutting sandwich with the silicone mat that's included, and running those Herirage lace dies through my die cut machine. This is going to make an impression rather than cut the Herirage lace, and it's a fun way to add texture with those really intricate dies and change up this card design just a bit. Now I placed my little frame there with the lemon on top, and I'm finishing off all of these cards with some clear droplets. I'm adding those on with the dual tip embellishment tool and a little bit of liquid glue. So here's a look at my 3 finished card projects. I would love it if you would leave me a comment below and tell me which of these 3 is your favorite. I'm kind of partial to the strawberries, but I love the embossed effect of that Herirage lace on the lemon card as well. I'm totally digging this 4-bar card size, and I hope you try it the next time you're crafting. Now keep in mind, this video is a part of a blog hop that's happening today celebrating the new Homespun with Heart release from Pinkfresh Studio. You can find more information about that blog hop and information on the giveaways over on my blog, and I'll have that linked in the YouTube description below. I will also have links to all the products used in this project in the YouTube description below, so if you're looking for something in particular, be sure you check there. As always, I want to say thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed these projects. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here so you don't miss any of my paper crafting, card making, and live stream video tutorials. I love it when you guys show up for that. I hope while you were here today, you found a little joy, a little light, and a little inspiration for your card making journey. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the very end. You know, if you've made it this far, you are one of my favorites. To subscribe to my channel, go ahead and click the button on the left side of the screen, and here's a couple more video tutorials I thought you might enjoy.